Another Israeli airstrike on Monday, this one in the central Gaza city of Deir al-Balah, sent the injured racing to hospitals.
We thought that the mosque was hit, or the house next to us, but we were surprised that the strike hit an empty land. Imagine that the strike hit an empty land, and look what happened to the house.
There are questions about when Israel might start a ground offensive in the southern city of Rafah, where more than 1 million displaced Gazans are sheltering. Israel says if the hostages held by Hamas are not freed by the start of the holy month of Ramadan, March 10th, that operation will begin.
We will do so in coordinated manner, facilitating the evacuation of civilians in dialogue with American and Egyptian partners and to minimize the civilian casualties as much as possible.
A U.S. resolution at the UN Security Council calling for a temporary ceasefire and an overwhelming vote by the European Union to do the same is putting enormous international pressure now on Israel.
We must do everything possible to put pressure on the Israeli government not to go into Rafah. I have had first-hand accounts from UN agencies, from UNRWA, as to the appalling situation there.
In Rafah, desperate Gazans swarmed incoming aid trucks to scoop up as much flour as they could, only to be met with gunfire. Aid truck deliveries have dwindled from around 200 each day to just about 200 in all of February. Meantime, Israel announced it will restrict access for Muslim worshippers to Jerusalem's Aqsa Mosque during Ramadan, potentially limiting the prayers only to older worshippers. That could inflame tensions in Jerusalem, which has remained relatively calm since the start of the war.
We affirm our legitimate right to this mosque. We reject any presence of Israeli police inside the squares of Aqsa Mosque.
And in another sign of the pressure Prime Minister Netanyahu is facing inside Israel, demonstrators outside his home demanded that he send Israeli negotiators back to the talks to secure the release of hostages. Andy Roesgen, TRT World.